Hi guys, I'm going to quickly demonstrate the LineMup script for Unity here. It can align and distribute multiple objects within the scene. It's somewhat similar to the alignment and distribution in Adobe Illustrator, if you're familiar with that. I figured it might come in handy for placing collectibles throughout the scene. So let's take a quick look at how it works here. First off, make sure that you import the LineMup script into the editor folder in the project pane. If you don't have the editor folder here, create a folder named editor and place the LineMup script in it. That will bring up a menu at the top here that you can select from. Now you can select the objects in the hierarchy or in the 3D view for alignment or distribution, but there's a difference between selecting them in either view. First off, if you select them in the hierarchy view, so like if I select the first health pickup here and hold Control and select the other ones, you can see in the inspector it says health pickup 1. So the first selection that I made is the active selection. So if I were to snap these into alignment, it's going to snap it into alignment with the first health pickup here. It's always going to snap it into alignment with the active selected object. And the active selected object is always going to be the first one you select in the hierarchy view. Now it's different if you select it in the 3D view here. If you select them in the 3D view, you can see the last selected object ends up being the active selected object. So in this case, if you select them in the 3D view, it's going to snap to health pickup 5, the last object that we selected. And then of course you can also use shift select to select them all, and it will keep that first selected object as the active selected object. So just remember, keep an eye on that. Look in the inspector if you're not sure. It's going to snap, to tell which one it's going to snap to. This one's going to snap to health pickup 1. So let's go ahead and test it out. You can see they're kind of scattered around in the x-axis here. So let's just snap them into alignment in the translation X, and then you can see they all fall into place. You can also snap into the Y and Z. You can snap the rotation, and you can snap the X, Y, and Z scale of the objects as well. Now we got them into alignment, but they're not evenly distributed. If you're placing this in a game, you might want them evenly placed throughout a certain area. So now the way the distribution works is it will distribute between the active selected object and then the furthest object from the active selected object. So the active selected object here is health pickup 1. That's the first one we have here, and it will run a calculation to see which object in the selection is the furthest away. This one right here is the furthest away, so it's going to distribute the rest of them between the active selected object and the furthest one. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this in the Z translation, and you can see they snap into nice placement. Now they're nice and evenly spaced. And you can also I'll go to the top view here and select the rotation and maybe rotate this something like that. Again, it's going to the rotation will work from the first selected object to the furthest away object. So I'm going to select them all and distribute the rotation, and you can see the rotation evenly distributes all the way between the first and the last object. You can align and distribute in multiple axes and snap rotations. If I wanted to snap all these rotations back into place, snap it back into that rotation. And then if I wanted to distribute these, I could distribute in the X, distribute in the Y, it's already distributed in the Z, but now you can get a nice even distribution between objects. So I hope you find this useful and have fun.